The FBI seems to be zeroing in on 2 suspects in the Boston Marathon bombing. We have pictures.
There are 3 dead and almost 200 injured. Our WEBN special, Boston Marathon Bombings, starts now.
While most people were running away from the tragic scene at the finish line, the National Guard was headed towards it.
In light of the Boston Marathon bombings, over 900 National Guard troops have been called in for additional security.
Besides Boston Common, there were also vigils at Dorchester and Boston universities. Back to the studio.
Welcome, I'm Felicia Bearden.
And I'm Trevor Savage.
They're being called armed and dangerous. FBI officials are looking for 2 young men.
They have released photos and videos of men they believe built and planted 2 bombs that exploded near the finish line of this year's Boston Marathon.
This picture is a close-up of the men who they're calling suspect number 1.
It shows him wearing a dark hat and carrying a black backpack. And this is the man they're calling suspect number 2. This first picture of him walking down the street.
You can see he is wearing a white cap with some type of logo on the side.
And then officials released another photo of suspect number 2. This one shows his face.
If you are now remembering being around these 2 men, the FBI is asking that you contact them immediately.
And then a side picture of suspect number 2 was also released. Authorities are encouraging anyone to contact the FBI TIPS hotline at 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Our reporter, Liz Montequilla, is live at the perimeter of the crime scene.
She was at this evening's FBI press conference. Liz?
Thanks, Trevor. I'm here on Boylston Street, where, as you can see over my shoulder here, people are still gathering at the memorial that has been set up along the barricade, and also behind me, the firehouse, where firefighters just a few minutes ago hung this American flag over the banner, where people have been coming to write messages and pay their respects to the victims of this tragedy.
And we were able to talk to some marathon runners and some eyewitnesses who actually heard the blast, so we're going to roll that for you right now.
I was down there. I worked at the scene of the blast, and it was awful. I'm an emergency room nurse, and I've never seen anything like that before.
I was concerned, and then I heard the second explosion, and I knew it was a bomb. As soon as I turned into Boylston, I saw the smoke in the finish line, and then I stopped, and I broke. I mean, I really sat on this street.
Charles Williams is live with information on those injured. Charles?
Thanks. Many first responders are being credited heroes with saving lives, but another factor to that was the medical tent at the end of the finish line. I spoke with Dr. Sanjay Gupta about the extent of some of these victims' injuries.
The vast majority of the injuries seem to be the lower part of the body, and it's a little bit unclear why. Usually when you have explosions, you have a force that sort of comes up and then out, and here it seemed to sort of stay low.
Nevertheless, added precautions will be made for next year's Boston Marathon, but Governor Deval Patrick says it will be even bigger and better than ever.
The city of Boston fell silent once more, but for the first time in a week, there was no fear, no shock. Today was for remembrance. Just 1 week ago, 2 bombs exploded at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. 3 were killed and over 280 were injured.
I am not retiring, but just turning one page on this chapter to the next.
During his speech, the mayor highlighted major developments and what he described as a diverse city.
Boston is the greatest city on earth.
Said, I think we're going to be next.
Businesses burned and memories did too.
This is so devastating for me to see. You have no idea.
When you come here and see this, it doesn't feel real. It feels like what happened here.
It's been over 2 weeks since the fire destroyed more than 50 businesses, and between Hurricane Sandy and now this, the Seaside Park community is just waiting for this nightmare to end. In New Jersey, Erin Farley, WEBN.
It's always great to be in Massachusetts, where so many of these ideas were first to be enacted into law.
The Bay State passed its own version of a Medical Leave Act 2 decades before the federal government introduced FMLA.
A key part of playing in the outfield is being able to move quickly from point A to point B.
Since 1997, one of baseball's greatest playmakers has been Torrey Hunter.
He's patrolled outfields just like this one all over the country.
I knew those guys out there, I knew the organization, but I left Minnesota and I was there 15 years and I really knew those guys. I grew up there.
We have a great core group of veteran guys here that you can really learn from, and just watch their work in the cage, just watch them, the way they go about their business, and doing everything in the clubhouse. And guys like Petey and David, you won't be going wrong if you copy those guys.
You don't make a good throw or whatever, you're still in that inning and you got to pitch yourself out of another jam.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks, but don't expect to pay what you would normally pay for a snack at Fenway Park next month. The Red Sox have dropped concession prices in order to boost ticket sales.
You can go and make a day of it if you're a family. You can come, you can eat, you can get in, you can watch the game, and it's not outrageously expensive.
Right now, Yawkey Way is a quiet place, but in just over a week, it will be filled with Red Sox fans on opening day. Local business owners are hoping lower food prices will help draw fans.
We've been in constant communication with the Red Sox as well, and they've mentioned that numbers are down this year, and we're planning accordingly.
Red Sox won last night. They are champions. Go Red Sox! They're really special because they won 3 champions this year.
Immunology specialist Brian Zanoni is taking AIDS research out of these labs and into the heart of Durban, South Africa.
Hello and welcome to our WEBN special coverage, the Boston mayoral election. I'm Mandy Cordero.
And I'm John King. This is the first time in 20 years that Mayor Thomas Menino is not on the ticket.
With 66% of the precincts reporting, Walsh has definitely a good lead ahead over Connolly. The atmosphere is insane right now. The music is loud. People are really happy here. The party goes on. We just heard a lot of screaming going on.
Now, Connolly has a really strong base of support in his home area of Roslindale and West Roxbury.
I've seen John with the debate with Marty Walsh, and I felt that John handled himself very, very well under pressure.
It's the year of the snake, and the snow won't keep away this Chinese New Year celebration. Boston's Chinatown is having a parade.
I love the look and the color and the music, and that they go to each store to store. I think it's really fun. I was determined to come today, so no matter what happens.
This has been an incredible year for the movies, and Hollywood's biggest stars are here at the Dolby Theater to celebrate and honor their own.
We've traveled all the way from Boston to Los Angeles to give you an all-access pass. WEBN's Oscar special On the Red Carpet starts now.
That's right, Darian. Only days before the Oscars, stars have been all over town celebrating film's biggest night. The pre-Oscar parties are just as star-studded as the actual event.
I think my little story is the only thing between you and a gun to your head.
Just the decent human being I think he is, and the talented actor he is, talented writer he is, a talented director he is.
I'm responsible.
I want Ben Affleck to win for Argo. I love him. I've worked with him. I think he's so bright and so talented, and he's an extraordinary director.
I'd like to see Life of Pi win a lot of stuff, especially Ang Lee.
Best cinematography, Life of Pi, hands down.
It is a celebration and a cap off to a year of hard work that Trina Vargas and her crew at the US Ireland Alliance have had, you know. So, I mean, with the Mitchell Scholarship and with all the work that they do promoting cultural and intellectual and educational bridges between Ireland and America, it's a really important thing that they do.
It's a great thing to see some of these people who are not the actors and actresses and the big names you might know, but the sound designers and the mixers and the costume designers, the people who early behind the scenes, to have them celebrated in a night like this as well is really kind of wonderful.
I stepped into the hairstyling studio of another person who helps actors get into character. Oscar nominee Martin Samuel is the man responsible for the hairstyles in Hitchcock.
I promised Mother I wouldn't tell.
It's a big operation being a department head because you're all the time you're running the show as far as the hair department is concerned.
But he didn't do it alone. Samuel and makeup artists Peter Montagna and Howard Berger put the final touches on these 1950s looks. Samuel didn't have to look too far for his Alfred Hitchcock inspiration.
And those pictures worked in Samuel's favor. The easy reference allowed him to recreate Hitchcock's infamous balding head on actor Anthony Hopkins.
Again for this opportunity. Anthony has a completely full head of white hair. I knew that I was going to approach him and we were going to shave the completely top of his scalp to give him that Alfred Hitchcock baldness here, and then colour his hair in. And so we did that and blended in his own white hair at the sides and used a little hairpiece on top here to give him that sort of wispy effect, which is actually here. So, yeah, that's the little wispy hairpiece that goes on, you know, on the crown, just to go over here, so it's not like a complete bald pate.
Talk about a beautiful November Monday morning. 43 degrees out there, sunny. You really can't complain about a day like today, especially because there is a cold front moving in. So we're going to see a little bit of rain, higher temperatures later in the week. But let's not talk about that. Let's focus on today. Like I said, sunny all day long. You're going to see some clouds out there, but really that sun is going to be shining bright.
The Danvers community is shocked.
We come from like a small town, and you would never think like something like this would ever happen.
They're angry.
He didn't grow up in Danvers. He's not from Danvers. I don't want anyone to think it's a Danvers kid.
Scared.
I just don't feel right to come back to school tomorrow.
And speechless.
I literally lost like my breath when I heard like that they confirmed her name.
It was hats off to Matt Nieto, literally. And the junior forward has a first place finish in mind for the Boston University Terriers.
I think I just have to keep playing the way I am. You know, work as hard as I can, get my shots off, and my line mates are playing great, so I think we'll have a strong finish.
Tonight's 3-1 win put the Boston University Terriers into 4th place. Now there are only 3 games left in the regular season, so it's going to take a strong performance from both McGuire and Nieto to put the Boston University Terriers into 1st place.
You know Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen. You may even know Santa Claus over here. Now, if you don't know all your reindeer, you're going to want to do some studying before heading into this winter wonderland. Even Santa does some caroling. In Boston, Erin Farley.
Hello and welcome to our WEBN special Political Pulse and Polling. I'm Maggie Smolka, and we're here to help you crunch the numbers for this season's major political races. On Tuesday, October 15th, there's a Congressional District 5 primary to fill Ed Markey's seat. Markey left when he was elected Massachusetts Senator, taking John Kerry's seat. Kerry left to replace Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. To help us break down the numbers, we have polling analyst Spencer Kimball. Welcome, Spencer.
Thank you for having me, Maggie.
So to begin, we're going to start by breaking down the districts. So can you describe their ethnic backgrounds?
Well, District 5 was reconfigured last year after the census, and now it kind of breaks in the middle with Waltham and Belmont as strong Armenian areas, and then over in the southern part and the northern part, more Caucasian white voters. And then we move over into the Revere-Winthrop area, where we have more minority votes coming from.
Massachusetts boasts 2 federal programs to help homeless veterans: Massachusetts Veterans Inc. in Worcester and the Veterans Benefits Clearinghouse in Roxbury.
Both are part of the Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program to connect vets with jobs.
Walmart has decided to hire former service members. It will put 100,000 vets on its payroll.
This hiring process will take place over 5 years, but critics don't think Walmart is the best bet.
They cite the retailer's tendency to have low-paying jobs and keep its workers at part-time in order to avoid paying full-time benefits.
Yes, the post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, has been named one of the most dangerous threats in the military. But some veterans are putting their appeals down and reconnecting with their bodies and souls through yoga.
It was like I was able to cry again. You know, I didn't even realize I wasn't able to do or feel certain things.
Stephanie Riddle is a veteran. She has served in Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003 and 2004. She has PTSD. So does veteran Mark Yablonsky.
You become aggressive and you forget what you learned back in being a civilian. And then yoga really enabled me to to maintain a calmness, to really center myself and learn how to breathe.
Pushcart vendors in downtown Boston may be pushed out of downtown Crossing if the Boston Business Improvement District, or BID, gets its way. Mayor Menino has extended vendor licenses for 60 days until a new program is put in place, but Boston pushcart vendors are still angry. Julio Calderon is one of the vendors who is affected by BID's decision and has helped file the suit.
How can I buy a coffee tomorrow after 60 days? What can I pay? The goods are coming. How can I keep paying the lease I signed for my warehouse? How can I buy gasoline tomorrow? With my van is coming, you know. So everything has to be from the business, and if they throw us on the street with nothing, how can we do that?
Everybody loves the parade, and the Boston Red Sox are ready to celebrate. The rolling rally starts at Fenway and will make its way down Boylston. Its final stop will be a victory lap around the Charles River. These parades are becoming more common for Boston fans.
Every 65 seconds, a vet takes his or her own life. Now, Tim plans to bring public awareness to vets through his program. In Milton, I'm Charles Williams, WEBN.
Our lab reporter Rebecca Morris will tell us how important this bill is. Rebecca?
Thanks, Cecilia. Massachusetts is home to the 5th largest gaming industry in the country. Recently, there have been bills proposed to give that industry tax incentives. Lawyer Mike Cavaretta says these incentives could give the Massachusetts gaming industry the boost it needs.
This year, the convention was all about mobility. I talked to Christian Becklin of Moonshot Games about the big event.
The big thing was this year they're doing all mobile games. So they want to have a focus on, there's a lot of indie games out there, but in particular, let's focus on the indie mobile community. And so you notice that all seven of the people here are represented are all mobile, either on smartphone, tablet, so on and so forth.
Every weekend we seem to get snow, and it is tiring, especially for commuters like David Perry.
I don't want to get stuck somewhere and then have Amtrak or the MBTA shut down service and I'm stranded somewhere. So that's why I hesitate to travel.
I just won the most original costume, so that's pretty funny, just to have some fun. And they asked me why I had this, and it was just to put something crazy together to put smiles on people's faces.
Definitely a good cause and a fun time with everybody here.
But it's not only for fun. The Polar Plunge is the biggest fundraising event for Special Olympics Massachusetts.
This facility has scored much below average on its health inspections and overall rating. It also is below average on staffing. This was something Ramirez refused to explain.
I'm not going to tell you.
However, Medicare interviews with residents returned an above average score.
Today on our show, we have Valerie Anselm, a young photographer making a social impact with her photography.
People don't usually, when people talk about their flaws, they're like, my flaw. Mm-hmm. So this was, so I was like, I want to do that and see where it goes from there. Help people to embrace who they are. Everybody has their beauty, inside and out. And it's really, you could ask people, do I look pretty and such like that, but it's really in yourself. Like, you have to find it in yourself to do that. I wanted to at least affect one person, because from that one person being affected, growing their confidence and seeing their beauty, it's kind of contagious.